Imagine opening your eyes before sunrise, not because the day has begun, but because the cold has been biting your body all night. There is no warm blanket, no safe bedroom, no locked door between you and the world outside. Smoke from last night's fire hangs low in the shelter. The ground is damp. Your stomach is already empty. Somewhere beyond the darkness, something moves. It may be a harmless animal passing by, or it may be a predator waiting for one careless sound. For ancient humans, morning was not a peaceful beginning. It was a test. Every day asked the same question. Will you survive until nightfall? Before cities, before writing, before medicine, before comfort, our ancestors lived in a world where hunger, fear, injury, and death were never far away. And yet, from that brutal world, humanity was born. This is not the romantic story of ancient humans sitting quietly beside a fire under a beautiful sky. This is the harsher truth. Their daily life was built on pain, danger, patience, and courage. Every meal had to be found. Every flame had to be protected. Every child, every elder, every injured person depended on the strength of the group. If you enjoy stories that reveal the hidden struggle behind human history, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support gives me more motivation to create deeper, more meaningful videos for the community. Now, let us step back thousands of years, before farms, before villages, before the modern world, into a morning when survival was never promised. The first thing ancient humans felt when they woke up was often not hope, but discomfort. Their bodies were stiff from sleeping on stone, earth, leaves, animal hides, or rough shelters made from branches and skins. Even inside a cave or beneath a rock overhang, safety was never complete. The air could be thick with smoke from the fire. Insects crawled through bedding. The smell of sweat, animal fat, damp earth, and old bones filled the space. There was no clean room waiting for them, no fresh clothes, no easy breakfast, no guarantee that the group would eat that day. Cold was one of the first enemies of the morning. Today, we think of cold as something solved by jackets, heaters, houses, and blankets. But for ancient humans, cold could become a silent killer. A night of rain, wind, or snow could weaken the body. Children, elders, and the sick were especially vulnerable. The fire was not just comfort. It was protection, warmth, light, and life. If the fire died during the night, the whole group could wake into danger. Then came hunger. Ancient humans did not wake up and ask what they wanted to eat. They woke up asking whether food existed at all. Maybe there were leftover bones from a hunt. Maybe a few roots, berries, nuts, or dried pieces of meat remained. But often the stomach began the day empty. Hunger was not an occasional problem. It was a constant pressure that shaped every choice, every movement, every risk. Water was another daily danger. A stream might look clean, but it could carry disease, parasites, or contamination from animals. A pond might save a thirsty person, but also expose them to crocodiles, snakes, insects, or predators waiting nearby. Even drinking water required courage, attention, and luck, and outside the shelter, the world was watching. Ancient humans were clever, social, and adaptable, but they were not untouchable masters of nature. Wolves, big cats, bears, hyenas, snakes, and other predators could turn one mistake into tragedy. A strange sound in the bushes could freeze everyone in place. A fresh track near the camp could mean the group had to move. A child crying too loudly at night could attract danger. This was the reality of an ordinary morning. Not peace, not comfort, not routine. A body waking in pain, a stomach asking for food, a group listening carefully to the world outside. For ancient humans, survival did not begin with heroic battles. It began with opening their eyes and realizing that the day itself was already a threat. When the sun rose higher, the struggle changed, but it did not disappear. Daylight gave ancient humans vision, warmth, and movement, but it also demanded action. No one could remain still for long. Hunger pushed the group outward. Every step away from shelter was a step into uncertainty. They had to search the land with careful eyes, reading signs most modern people would completely miss. Broken branches, animal tracks in soft mud, feathers on the ground, distant bird calls. The smell of water, the direction of the wind, the movement of insects around fruit or carcasses. To survive, ancient humans had to understand nature like a living map. They knew which plants might be safe, which roots could be dug from the soil, which berries could feed them, and which ones might bring sickness or death. But this knowledge was not learned from books. It was earned through observation, memory, pain, and sometimes terrible mistakes. One wrong plant could poison the body. One careless reach into a hollow tree could disturb snakes, insects, or hidden teeth. Hunting was even more dangerous. Today, people often imagine ancient hunters as fearless warriors chasing animals across open land. But in reality, hunting was a gamble with the body. There were no rifles, no metal blades, no emergency rooms waiting behind the trees. A spear made from wood and stone required courage, skill, and teamwork. A wounded animal could turn back with terrifying force. A kick from a large herbivore could break ribs. A fall during a chase could shatter a leg. And in that world, a broken leg was not just an injury. It could mean hunger, dependence, abandonment, or death. Still, humans had one great weapon: cooperation. Alone, they were fragile. Together, they became something powerful. One person followed tracks. Another watched the horizon. Others prepared tools, carried children, gathered food, or protected the fire. Elders, even if too weak to run, held priceless knowledge. They remembered where water could be found during dry seasons, which paths were dangerous, and which animals should never be approached. Children watched, copied, learned, and slowly became part of the survival machine of the group. Food, when finally found, was more than a meal. It was relief. A successful hunt could change the mood of an entire group. Meat meant strength. Fat meant energy. Bones could be cracked for marrow. Hides could become warmth. Tendons could become bindings. Almost nothing was wasted, because every piece carried value. Fire made this world more survivable, but fire itself had to be guarded. It cooked food, softened meat, scared predators, gave light, and brought people together. But rain, wind, or carelessness could take it away. If the flame died, the night became colder, darker, and more dangerous. Someone had to protect it, feed it, and carry its embers when the group moved. This was the ancient day. Walking, searching, tracking, digging, cutting, carrying, waiting, risking. Survival was not one heroic moment. It was hundreds of small decisions made under pressure. And even after food was found, even after the fire survived, another enemy was waiting for them. As the sun began to fall, the world became darker, and ancient humans had to face the most frightening part of all: night, pain, sickness, and the unknown. When night returned, the ancient world changed its face. The same land that gave roots, water, tracks, and sunlight during the day became a place of shadows and hidden movement. For modern people, night often means rest. For ancient humans, night could mean terror. The fire became the center of existence. Around it, the group gathered closely, not only for warmth, but for courage. Beyond the circle of light, the darkness belonged to other creatures. Every sound mattered: a branch snapping in the distance, a low growl carried by the wind, wings moving above the trees, the cry of an animal somewhere far away. Ancient humans had to listen with their whole bodies. Sleep was not deep and peaceful for everyone. Someone had to remain alert. Someone had to watch the fire. Someone had to notice if danger came too close. But predators were not the only threat. The human body itself was fragile. Without modern medicine, pain could become a permanent companion. A cut from stone, a bite from an insect, a burn from fire, or a wound from hunting could turn dangerous. Infection was a silent enemy. A toothache could become unbearable. A fever could weaken a person until they could no longer walk with the group. Smoke from the fire protected them, but it also filled their lungs. Cold, hunger, parasites, and exhaustion slowly shaped their bodies. For women, childbirth was one of the greatest risks of life. Bringing a child into the world was not only a moment of joy, it was a moment of danger. There were no hospitals, no clean delivery rooms, no modern tools, no emergency help. A newborn had to survive cold nights, hunger, movement, and sickness. Every child who lived was a victory, not only for a mother, but for the entire group. A child meant the future. A child meant memory would continue. And yet, this is where the story becomes more powerful. Ancient humans were not only creatures running from death, they were creatures learning how to care. Archaeological evidence suggests that some injured or disabled individuals survived for years, which means others must have helped them. This tells us something deeply human. Survival was not only about strength, it was also about compassion. Around the fire, ancient humans may have told stories. They may have explained the stars, remembered the dead, warned children about dangerous animals, and shared the wisdom of past journeys. On cave walls, they painted animals, hands, symbols, and mysterious scenes. These images were more than decoration. They were signs that the human mind was reaching beyond hunger and fear. Even in a brutal world, people searched for meaning. This is the great secret of ancient life. It was harsh, painful, and uncertain, but it was not empty. In the darkness, humans discovered the power of the group. In hunger, they learned patience. In danger, they learned courage. In loss, they learned memory. In firelight, they began to become storytellers. The daily life of ancient humans was a battle fought quietly, again and again. Every meal was earned. Every night survived was a miracle. Every child raised was proof that hope could survive even in the hardest world. Before kingdoms, before temples, before science, before cities, our ancestors sat together under the stars, afraid but not defeated. And when we look back at them, we are not simply looking at the past. We are looking at the foundation of ourselves. Their fear became our caution. Their curiosity became our knowledge. Their cooperation became our civilization. Their small fires in the darkness became the first light of humanity.